Hello everyone, welcome back to another quarterly presentation, and as in the past, also in this one, I have prepared a lot for you, so I will split this into two parts. Remember that there is a very ambitious goal with these presentations, which is to bring you the most quality content, investment content, crypto-oriented even, on the internet. And in order for me to get to that goal someday, I need to always learn from my mistakes, and you can only learn from your mistakes if you admit them. So let's have a look at the previous presentations, how they aged, what I've done correct and what I didn't do correct. Where were my mistakes? So right here is the Bitcoin chart. Okay, the Bitcoin, actually no, this is the total chart, and in here I have indicated for you where I've done my two past quarterly presentations. The first one I have done in the second half of March, and if you want to read through this conclusion, you're going to discover that I'm talking here about equities may bottom out swiftly, potentially as early as the beginning of Q2. Several arguments suggest equities could achieve new all-time highs later this year, and cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, might surge towards a third cycle peak to a possibility of an extended cycle. So the first quarterly presentation I have done this year, I am very proud for. This is total crypto chart, but if you saw S&P 500 chart, I have aired this presentation, recorded it, and I have aired it just before the 20% strong correction we had in late March, start of April this year. So this is actually extraordinary conclusion, in my opinion. I'm very proud of that. And in contrast, that's why I also marked it with green for you. But the previous quarterly presentation I have marked with red, because that's quite a contrast. I am not really proud on this conclusion. So I have done this presentation in the second half of May. Actually, I aired it on 20th of May, even though I recorded it sooner. And in here, I say that the BTC move because of M2 is currently super popular narrative, keep a large number of investors optimistic, and yada yada yada. And I estimate 45% chance of a sustained bull run versus 55% chance of a bull trap in 2025. So this was not a conclusion that I should have done, because it really kept me, and since May, actually since I've done this presentation, I have done very poorly. The markets, the crypto went surged, really mooned, and especially altcoins with alt season. I completely missed out on Ethereum season, had no Ethereum exposure. I was underexposed altcoins. I was completely underexposed altogether, because actually I sold Tesla in June, which was, by the way, correct call, but still I had majority cash, so I made basically no money, because I am also, lots of my exposure was in GigaChat, Solana, Memecoin, that went down a lot basically. So just not good times for me since May, and this conclusion right here was among the causes. Also, another, I didn't write it here, this is my sticky note that I've just done, bullet points. You can read it for yourself if you want. You can, anytime you can pause this and just read it for yourself. But another problem also for me was that I expected sideways summer, which is usually the case. The summers are usually sideways. And I went away. I traveled all around in June and in also first half of July. And that exactly, like, the crypto really knows how to really do the stuff that just I'm not prepared for, obviously, because that was the biggest surge, was from the mid-June to mid-July, was exactly when I just didn't even have my computer. It's just not good times for me the past quarter, I have to say, and it's frustrating. But the mistakes that I have done was, first of all, that I expected the sideways summer. I always need to also keep an eye on that. What if the market is going to do exactly the opposite what is expected, because people expected the sideways summer? I was not alone. Another mistake that I have done, and I'm really learning from this, is that this global M2 correlation with Bitcoin, that community centered all around a Raw Paul, okay, That's a big figure. And just the community centered around him. Just look at here, 1 million views. Okay, 1 million views on his tweet. And then there is lots of other viral channels just parroting him. So this community beat me to it. They were correct, and I should not have been betting against them. So sometimes the retail communities, they are correct, for some time at least. And another mistake that I have done, that also the reversed indicators were in here in this video, in my quarterly Q2 presentation. I mentioned two of them, Jim Cramer and Colin Talks Crypto, I believe. Yes, Colin Talks Crypto. So both of them, let me just do also maybe different color, like maybe green. So both of them also actually were kind of right. I'm not sure about Jim Cramer. I have not heard from him for a while, but Colin was, in this case, he was correct because he was a big follower of the global M2 correlation with Bitcoin community. So, hence my mistakes, and I really need to progress to another slide. I will spend a little bit more time on each slide because now I do these slides for you in a little bit different format. They're more detailed. We can zoom in like this. It's super cool. So, another slide, 4-year cycle theory. Is it a friend or is it a foe? So, as you can see here, I have brought you mostly just tweets. All of these are viral tweets. You can just check, 73K, 236K views on this tweet. There is all the viral tweets. I don't even care if somebody has just 1,000 views, okay? I really don't have to, because that's how it goes basically. They have no influence. Whereas these people, these viral people, they have tremendous amount of influence. I'm not even sure they realize that in some cases. And also, I have also brought you a Google Trends search term. When you search 4-year cycle, you get that basically we are in the highs, in the historic highs. As you can see, obviously, we are in historic highs in this Google Trends search term, which is, by the way, not good. And the purpose of this slide is to try to find out if the 4-year cycle theory is crowded or not. Because with what happened to me with the other community, which was the global M2 correlation with Bitcoin, they basically were right in Q2. And Q3, I have to say, actually, I should be saying Q3. They've been correct, so I am now much more careful with this community, and I'm doing much deeper research. As you can see in several cases, like this is arguably the most viral tweet I found from Colin Talks Crypto, which is basically promoting the 4-year cycle theory here. It's 603,000 views. So, and I have also even brought you responses to that tweet, so you can see if people are in agreement, if his own followers are in agreement with him or not. And the same I have also done for a tweet which is bearish about the 4-year cycle theory, and it's very viral, it's almost 600,000. And I've also analyzed if his followers are bullish or bearish about the theory. And if you just zoom out on this slide, okay, let's just zoom out like this, and you can see these little cute bears and bulls that I have, put there for you. So I'm just showing you which of these tweets were bullish about the 4-year cycle theory, so they were promoters, or they were bearish about the 4-year cycle theory, so they were just haters or just disagree with the 4-year cycle theory. They expect 4-year cycle theory to die, to not play out. And if you look at this, slide, like this is very split. There is no consensus. So what does this mean for me? First of all, what it means, let's not bet against this theory. I cannot bet against this theory when there is so many bears, viral bears, Pierre Rochard, Adam Back, Jake Claver. First of all, Jason A.I. Williams, 600,000 views. Like even Colin's own followers, some of them are quite bearish. Like they tell him like, man, like cycloethnic signals higher targets. Like this is a bearish tweet on the Fourier cycle theory. If this were to happen, then Bitcoin would be truly dead. That's just, he's just disagreement. He doesn't agree that the Fourier cycle theory is gonna play out. So there is lots of bears. I would say half against the Fourier cycle theory. So I will not bet against it. But also there is lots of bulls. I will not bet explicitly with it. However, the theory is going to be definitely also correct. I will keep monitoring it, and I will expect the Fourier cycle to come true with a twist or more twists. That's my conclusion from this slide. Let's progress to the next slide. What are the main targets of the major Bitcoin accounts? So again, in a similar fashion, just like in the previous slide, I am trying to analyze for you what are the main the viral to X accounts. What are they saying about Bitcoin? Are they bullish and or bearish about Bitcoin right now? Okay, this is all fresh. Actually, there is a mistake. This one is not fresh. This is from the March of 18. I am very sorry about it, but everything else is fresh. August 11, August 14, 7 hours ago. That was like yesterday or 2 days ago. August the 7th, etc., etc. And August the 19th. This is all fresh tweets, except for the one, okay? And maybe except for Capo. Capo is from the end of July. But I'm analyzing, are the viral accounts bullish or bearish for Bitcoin right now? And where are their targets? Those that are bullish, where are their targets? So Cointos Cryptos talks about 200k here, but his targets are pretty much like it varies because he's looking at multiple stuff. Then who else is bullish? Captain Parabolic. Okay, this guy is giving some 430,000 target for Bitcoin. This bull is giving 300,015. This guy is bearish right now. The Bitcoin therapist is saying 250,000 more or less. So the targets are not set in stone. Not consensus about the target. And just again, zoom out. We have just zoom out. Look at this, guys. What do you see? We see split. We see lots of viral accounts bearish, okay? And this is not just any account. This Wiz guy, 250,000 views, and he's bearish about it. The top is in. Bitcoin top is in, okay? Another guy, 192,000. Nobody prepared for this, and he's saying a return to 89,000 or so, 90,000 Bitcoin. Wow. So, wowzers, there is lots of bears for Bitcoin. This is not a sentiment that should be toppy, and there is not consensus about the target. So I have made again my sticker note here, and I'm saying that this could suggest the possibility of another higher peak in the coming weeks. Okay, so this is also one of my takeaways, or maybe the main takeaway from this slide. Let's progress to the next slide. We'll do 7 slides in each part, okay? So 7 slides in this one. What exactly is the timing of the Fourier cycle theory? So let's again talk a little bit about the Fourier cycle theory, because not all of you might be very or that familiar with it. And we've just analyzed that there is lots of bears about it, lots of bulls as well, lots of promoters. But I would say that the sentiment, and I'm a really sentiment guy, I'm a contrarian guy and a sentiment guy. I really like to go against the sentiment in a contrarian way. And from the sentiment of the Fourier cycle theory, what I can assess is just, I think it's going to come true with twists, okay? So, what does the Fourier cycle theory say? So, this is a CryptoCon. CryptoCon is one of the promoters of the Fourier cycle theory, one of the best promoters even. And he's doing this beautiful overview. He spent lots of time on this. beautiful overview, really stunning, colorful, everything. And basically it says that the top for the Fourier cycle theory is this red, okay, I was trying to draw an arrow, this red dot, okay, and this red dot is always around the end of November, so end of November 2025. That's basically the top, what the Fourier cycle theory says, okay? So, then also the Fourier cycle theory doesn't say it explicitly, but also the fib levels between halvings. I'm not gonna give you the theory how I come to that, but Fourier cycle theory basically is very close to what the fib levels between halving, what they say, and they basically say that the cycle is going to end at this fib level, 0.382 level, and it's measured between the last halving and the next projected halving, and that is scheduled for the end of October, okay? So, the Fourier cycle theory strongly suggests that the total cycle peak will occur in Q4 2025, okay? The Fibonacci level clarifies it further as October 19th, 2025. So, I guess I just wanted to explain you the timing what the Fourier cycle theory says, because at the end of both of these parts of this presentation, at the end of the second part, I'm gonna release it separately. I'm gonna give you conclusion, and that conclusion will be also basically taking the research also from this timing that we've just analyzed. Let's have a look at another slide, okay? So the global M2 correlation with the BTC community has outpaced me, okay? I've already talked to you about it. It's important to admit it. If you can't outdo them, should you join them? Because one famous saying says, if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm asking myself, okay, I can't outdo them, should I join them? So I am now analyzing myself, I am analyzing the where does the global M2 correlation with Bitcoin, what does it say at the moment? What does it say? Okay, so what does it say is that basically, because this is the chart of Bitcoin, as you can see these candles, and this yellow line here, that's the global M2. And oops, and this is all 77 days, I think, no, 79 days, 79 is Q. So it's basically, it's the timing is basically skewed by 79 days to the direction that basically like the global M2 is front running the Bitcoin by 79 days, okay? And what does it say is that we should actually continue up, and then we should have a correction in the second half of September into the second half of October, and then who knows, then maybe recovery, maybe just the dead cat bounce and just going lower. So basically here with the green candle, with the green arrow, I'm also illustrating, drawing for you what does the global M2 right now suggest for Bitcoin. Okay, and this is my take on it. So again, the theory right now actually suggests that the top is going to occur in the middle of September, which is in about 3 weeks time. Let's have a look at another slide. We're getting late in this presentation. 2 more slides to go. Will there be a crash in September for stocks and cryptocurrency? So now I am touching the equities as well, not just crypto. So first of all, I'm not displaying that research here, but I've shared it on X a couple of weeks ago. It's very many people retweet that. September is historically the worst month in a year for both, for Bitcoin, for crypto overall, and for the equities, okay? So I have tried the search terms. I tried September crash. I tried September BTC. That's not bearish, but I tried it. September correction, September bearish, September rally, September top. I've tried these search terms, and basically September rally is not at the highest ever, okay? But all of these that were bearish, September correction, September bearish, September top, September crash, all of them were in the new all-time highs. All of these search terms were in the new all-time highs, okay? Oops, let's have a look at, let me come back. Let's have a look at what some of the viral, again, 52,000 views, etc. viral accounts, what do they say about the September? This Emmy Moon, for instance. September is going to start very red. That's bearish. Okay. This Trend Spider. So 34% win rate for September, average return of -4%. That's super bearish statement for whole September. Dr. Profit. September will be very bearish month. The market will continue after it. So I would say that that there is a consensus. I would say there is a consensus that the September is going to be bearish month, and I'm no longer, because of this, I am kind of changing my stance on September, because I was in that camp as well before I've done this research. So I'm not sure what I click when this happens. Anyway, there appears to be strong negative sentiment for September. This clearly suggests that we will experience some upward movement in September, or I should even add here, or September will be shockingly positive. Actually, that's also what I'm reading from this sentiment. The increase may occur in the first half of the month in the event of correcting. But yes, and this is also a very important statement, in the event of S&P 500 correcting now, I'm gonna talk about 5 to 10% later in this presentation, or in the second part of it rather. If we get the correction now, then the increase that now I expect some bullish movement in September, then the increase would occur in the second half of September. Okay? And let's close this presentation with this slide. So what about the alt season? Because I still sticking with crypto, and I will close this part of the presentation with crypto. The next part is going to be more oriented on equities, but at the end of it, I'm gonna give you a conclusion, which will be touching both crypto and equities. So what about the alt season? So this is a very rich slide, okay? I'm not sure you can even see it all because I have a wider screen than you, than this video is recorded in, I mean. So this is a very rich, I have to disable this somehow. This is very rich slide. And in the middle of this slide, there is this table. This table is my own research, my own table that I started doing, and I will be updating it as the time will go. And there I track for now 6 metrics, but I would like to add there few more metrics if I find them. And there I will be checking if these metrics will signal green or red. Okay, if they signal green, it means that the chance that the Bitcoin dominance has dropped enough is increased. So what I expect from this table is that it's going to help us to assess when will be again a major swing point for Bitcoin dominance, from the technical point of view at the very least. Actually this is looking at the technicals only, I have to say, because even these altcoin indexes, the CMC and the blockchain center altcoin index, they're both basically about technicals. I think they measure volume, price increases, etc. So we have only one flushing green. Okay, this is pretty bullish for the alt season, or it's bullish for the dominant it's a bullish for altcoin dominance and bearish for Bitcoin dominance. But it doesn't necessarily mean the altcoin will surge in the fiat prices, because the alt season can continue, should continue in the bear market. So when we will will be dropping in the fiat prices, the dominance can be still dropping. The Bitcoin dominance, I mean. Okay, now all of these tweets again, okay, I have been focusing on viral tweets, okay, 42,000, 50 something thousand, etc. All of these tweets, Henrik Zeberg, Crypto Bullet, but also some guys that have really been a good reverse indicators in the past when it comes to altcoin, and it's Mr. Crypto. That's one of the broken clocks. We call them broken clocks, who 100 times a year is going to say that alt season tomorrow. Crypto Rover, another broken clock. So we have broken clocks being louder, and we have other guys just joining them. So this is very bad, actually very bearish altcoin sentiment, actually. And remember what we've assessed a few slides ago when we were looking at the Bitcoin sentiment. It was nowhere near like this. So I don't like this. I wish it was different. I don't like it. But altcoin sentiment is elevated and Bitcoin sentiment is not elevated. And I've also added the sentiment indexes, crypto fear and greed index. That's the most famous one, but also the new one, the CMC one. Okay, here. The CMC actually, I think, takes more into account the altcoins. Okay, and this one is more about Bitcoin, and the new one is around 56, but we've spent lots of time in the greed and in the high neutral. So it's not as bad as it was. It's not as bearish as it was in November. But I would say that we've been there for months. We've been there May, July, and now most of August. So this is a long time we spent in the greed. However, there is one more time like this, and that was in Q4 2023. There we also spent many months exactly in the window where we are right now. Then we had one correction, about 20%. And then we had one last pump, and actually there was a top for some time. That was the March. So the February and March was very bullish in 2024, even with meme season. And so can this be like that? We shall see. But the alt index, the alt sentiment index is actually permanently in the greed, except for maybe sometime in June. But again, it's May, whole July, most of August in greed, and in some almost extreme greed, actually in some days I think even extreme greed. This is not good, okay? So this needs, in my opinion, some resetting. So unfortunately for me, because I'm in altcoins as well, unfortunately some altcoin sentiment reset is needed. And with that, I will close this part of the presentation. Make sure to tune in the second part. That's where my conclusion is going to be. And I'm going to be focusing during that part a lot on the equities, which I've been only touching very vaguely so far.